Hello guys, and welcome to Ride VIP, the Rideshare channel. My name is Serge, and in today's video, it's Friday. I already recorded like a little screen recording for y'all that I'm beginning on a Friday to let you know what kind of bonuses I'm going to be having. In total, there's $95 in bonuses for this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So today being a Friday, I decided to go out there and make some money. Previously I did talk about how I am thinking about just working the weekend when it comes to working for Lyft. There's a possibility of me renting a Tesla and working for Uber if I see some bonuses. I looked and I just don't see any bonuses. That would have been nice if there was one. It could sort of, cover the cost of the Tesla rental. And you might be thinking or asking yourself, wait a minute, didn't you say you were going to be a mobile mechanic? So yes, and let me explain. I get lots of comments, and I thought I sort of addressed this in previous videos, but a lot of times the way I think about it, maybe you did not watch that previous video or whatever, which is fine. So first of all, I do want to say this: anytime you start a small business, it's exciting, obviously, and a lot of times you think everybody's going to be your client right away, and let's invest all this money into it because, man, I'm going to be so busy. And I'm no different, right? But the fact of the matter is, that's not how it works. The way it works is you have to sort of build the business. This is why, they say building a business, and it takes time to build it. You do not just wishful thinking wish yourself into a business. With that being said, there's building blocks that need to be put in place before you could start a new business, and we'll talk about some of those in this video. A lot of you guys are doing Uber and Lyft on the side. Maybe this is your after work type of hustle. If this is something you're doing after work, man, more power to you guys. You're better than me. I know you guys tell me I got good work ethic, but boy, I was not able to really do Lyft or Uber, for that matter, while I was being a service technician and having a normal 9-to-5 job. And it sounds exciting, yeah, like 9 to 5, right? But really it was like 8 to 5, and really it was like 7:30 to more like 5:30 without no lunch. Every day I put in about 10 hours, 10 hours, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a tiny bit less, like 9 hours and 9/10. That was really easy for me to do. All the while I thought I'm making overtime. I made zero overtime, and the whole time I worked for Chrysler Jeep and Dodge as a service technician. I was told I was hourly, but I'm on a hybrid model, and anything that I do when it's related to being a service technician is going to be covered at $18 an hour as a flat rate and $16 an hour for everything else. So I was guaranteed, no matter what, $16. But in reality, that was like really misleading, because first of all, nobody really explained to me how that worked. And no, I do not have a sour taste in my mouth, like with this whole experience, because after all, that was an experience. I got something out of it, maybe you got something out of it, but all in all, lots of time was lost for very little pay. But I needed to make this experiment to get this notion out of our head sometimes that the grass is greener on the other side. We had all this talk in some videos, well, more like comments in the videos, and sometimes I talked about various different jobs, how maybe it's just better to go out there and just grab a job, right? Not so fast. Here I thought even $14 an hour would have probably been paying us about right, about similar to what we're getting paid here driving for Uber and Lyft. But I was wrong, because $16 and $18 an hour just wasn't cutting it. I mean, if you guys missed those videos, let me quickly update you. My paycheck for 3 weeks working When I say 3 weeks, that's like 15, well, more like 14 days, because I did not exactly start, exactly. So 14 days of working, and I only made $1,546, and I was working like, I think like 60 hours a week, something like that. Yeah, and no overtime. So here I thought I'm gonna be making some overtime. Nope, I didn't make it overtime. And maybe this is just one of those things. This is maybe something that service mechanics, service technicians go through. Maybe this is a way for the dealership to not pay overtime. It's like they tell you, oh, we're not gonna be messing with your overtime. That's what they told me. Like, you could have as much overtime as you want. You could work straight through lunches, and you could just have overtime. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, come in to work early. That would mean I could just clock in early. They did not mind, so I easily clocked in at 7:20, 7:30, sometimes like 7:12, as long as they open up the doors. The dealership opened at like 7:30 for like customers, but some staff was there about like 7 o'clock, and they would let you in, but that wasn't always the case. But anyways, I was able to come in there, clock in, clock out, and if I wanted to stay and work overtime, yeah, so be it. But with that being said, I'm just gonna talk about this just a little bit, right? I would wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I would drive to the dealership. Usually it would take me about an hour and a half to drive 40 miles. And that's because traffic, Charlotte traffic, and I drove from Lancaster, South Carolina, where there's pretty much no traffic here. Well, pretty much, there is no traffic here. The city is booming, but there's just no traffic here, which is absolutely wonderful. So when I would get off at like 5:30, and sometimes even close to 6, by that time I was already awake for 12 hours, and I was beat, to be honest. Being a mechanic, service technician, it's no easy task. And it may sound like easy work, but really it's a lot of lifting, it's a lot of bending, it's a lot of picking stuff up, it's a lot of walking. It's a damn exercise, which is kind of a good thing, but in a way it was really stressful for my body. Not to sound really silly, but it was just like a little bit stressful. Like some of the jobs, some of the areas you got to get into and put yourself in weird positions to get there, and sometimes like use specialty tools. It was really hectic, and after I was like done with that task, I would treat myself to a nice Starbucks chai latte, which they had a machine for, and that was just great. Like, I'm thinking like, whoa, just this machine here alone keeps me employed. I could just come here and have my chai lattes every day. I even made jokes about it, and some of the technicians had a laugh. They're like, oh, you're drinking chai lattes again, and we had a little fun with it, and it was great. I enjoyed it. But I would drink and I would feel better, and then I was putting all that sugar, and by the time I was done working there, after a month, I've gained like 7 pounds, which it has taken me about a month to lose that that much, because I really like driving. Like, I think I talked about this, also will make you gain weight, because you're driving, it's a little boring. Maybe you'll drink some sodas, maybe you're gonna drink some energy drinks or some coffees, and if you're drinking the stuff with the sugar, it's easy to put on weight. And I've seen a lot of guys too, they'll have a bunch of candy with them. I was no different. I would have candy, peanuts, or well, not peanuts, but maybe some kind of nuts, that don't make a mess, because after all, you want to have a nice, clean, presentable car. Hence, I'm actually driving to a car wash. I want to get this baby washed after we had rain for like 3 days here. But with all that being said, that's just kind of like a little reminder of just having a job, which is not bad. All in all, it's not for me, because I just don't have time to be able to sit there and put the years in to be able to grow. Sure, probably about a year, I would be getting paid a little bit more, a little bit better, right? But the drive is just what's killing me. And we will get this dealership opened up here in Lancaster in about a year and 3 months, maybe a year and 6 months. And at that time, depending on how things go, maybe I'll get a job again. but I will not go back at $16 an hour. That's just ridiculous. They're gonna have to try better than that, because after all, depending on how you do this job, right? Lyft or Uber, you're already doing that or better. And one thing that we're forgetting is all of these miles that you put on your car. This stuff is like tax deductible. All of the mileage. Keep good track of it. Just write things down. You know how IRS wants it. They want it to be kind of like a book that is easy to read. They want to be able to see exactly what happened if you get out of it and whatnot. Just keep your track of your miles. But the good thing is, Uber and Lyft keeps track of your miles, so they'll send you the all the miles that you drove to begin with. One of the ways they get you though when it comes to those miles. So anyways, guys, I have washed my car, and now I got my first pickup, which is in 7 minutes, and I'm headed down that way from the Rock Hill area. I got some food as well, just fueled up. I always start with a full tank. But driving this Chrysler 300, since I drove it last time, one like little, I don't even know like how to really call it, but I don't know if it's a little problem or just something I have to deal with. I don't have a huge gas tank on this car, so every 6 hours I need to fuel up, but each fuel up is costing around like $30. So it's gonna cost me roughly $60 if I work a full 12-hour shift, which is not bad. But I don't like the fact that I have to stop twice at a gas station. Kind of reminds me when I had to, when I was renting a Tesla, I had to do that. So anyways, let's continue. So speaking of my new business venture, and this will go with about like any business venture out there. Anything new you start out, like any kind of like new business plan, well, you're gonna need to have a business plan. So it does not mean that you're gonna get like work right away. So what are you gonna do with your time when you don't have any work? So that means for me, there's still lots of steps that I gotta take, but when I need to make money, the end result is still coming back to Lyft or Uber. So it's not a bad choice. It's good that it's a flexible choice. Unlike having a job and you don't quit your day job when you start a business, which is a lot more difficult to do. Like I was saying, my head goes out to you guys. If you do have a normal job and you're trying to work this after work, you just put in already so much time sitting in traffic, getting to your job, doing your job, especially if it's physical, type of job. Then on top of that, you have to go and do Lyft or Uber, and that's difficult. I did not even clocked in to do or logged in or went online to do Uber or Lyft after work. It's just I'm kind of thinking like, well, now that I got off, there's more traffic. So what kind of work am I going to do, in traffic? Not a lot of work. It's already taking me like an hour and a half to get home, and it was like dark by the time I get home. Of course, daylight saving time. But it would be like 6:30 by the time I get home. So if I would end up doing Uber and Lyft, that means I would have to like literally work till like at least like 9 or 10. Then I gotta drive home, which means I would then waste another hour to drive home, and then you just go to sleep, and then it's like you have like no life technically at that point. That means you don't see your family, you don't see anybody, you don't see nothing. So anyways, getting back to my mobile mechanic type of business, in order to do that, I still have to do a lot. Like I gotta get my van ready, and I gotta get all that stuff ready. So there's still a lot of things that I gotta do. But one thing I did do already is I did build my website. I did get all the necessary tools. I just gotta put in the work and actually get that van mechanically sound. Well, it's mechanically sound, but I need to fix my power steering pump losing fluid issue. I'm also losing some oils because the vehicle's been sitting for a while, and now it has developed a lot of like little problems like this. So I need to get all that stuff ready. So when you're starting something new, great idea, definitely, by all means, do that, but do not go into great debt to do that, because the business may or may not work out. So what is your backup plan? So if you see me doing Lyft or Uber, that is kind of my backup plan, and it's not a bad one. You could cash out every day if you need money, so that definitely works out. Well, now I just came to pick up my customer, and I'm gonna have to go soon. But one of the other things that I'm doing, guys, besides doing my Uber and Lyft, and while I'm working on creating my mobile mechanics business, is I have other cars that I'm working on besides this Chrysler. And I think what I'm gonna end up doing, guys, is I may put this up for sale and actually sell it, even though I really don't want to sell it. It's just that this was supposed to be a vehicle that I fix and flip, but I really like it so much that I enjoy driving it. But I'm thinking like, okay, let me just sell it because I like it. If I get lowballed, I don't have to sell it right away, so I'm not gonna like sell it then. But I really like everything about it. Like, interior is immaculate, outside, it's looking great too. It's got basically all the updated stuff, so the vehicle is pretty nice. So I definitely enjoy driving it. It does not look ugly or anything, so I'm gonna put it up for sale while I'm getting another car ready for me to sell. So I will do that, and hopefully, if I get into the car flipping type of game, right, that will sort of catch on, and we'll see what's gonna happen. But essentially, I am not in a hurry to get customers, like when it comes to being like a mobile mechanic. But for the most part, I just want to get it ready for myself. Well, anyways, guys, talk to you later. Bye bye.